Focused and fearless, here's everything you need to know this rush hour of June 21, Friday. I'm Riza Diaz. Opening up today's rush with Malacanang now saying that the crew from the Chinese vessel that rammed FB Gemver isn't obliged to rescue the distressed Filipino fishermen in Recto Bank. Ria Fernandez with the story.
Nearly 2 weeks after the sinking of a Filipino fishing boat at Recto Bank, Beijing has said it is open to a possible joint probe with the Philippines on the matter. The idea was first suggested by Philippine officials earlier this week. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lu Kang expressed regret over what he called an accidental collision between a Chinese and Filipino fishing vessel. But to resolve the matter, the Chinese official says there should be a joint investigation by the Philippines and China so that the two sides can share their respective findings. President Duterte earlier said that he will not issue a formal statement on the matter and that there is a need to hear China's side first. China maintains the incident was unintentional and that Filipino fishing boats surrounded them prior to the collision. Meanwhile, Malacanang spokesperson Salvador Panelo appears to flip-flop on earlier statements condemning China's abandonment of the Filipino fishermen at sea. Now, Panelo says the Chinese are not obliged to save the FB Gemver crew if it poses a threat to their security.
The one helping feels na it will endanger his life. It's not required. Kasi kung tutulong ka tapos ikaw pala mamamatay, bakit ka naman marirequire?
To settle this once and for all, Panelo agrees that a joint probe would be needed to determine the veracity of claims from both China and the fishermen.
Mabuti yung dalawa na nagsasama para walang sabing na masyadong bias. Kasi kung siyempre, nationality mo ang iniimbisiga mo, gusto mo, kakampi mo. Pero kung nandun yung adversarial side, siyempre hindi pa pwede, nakabantay nga eh.
Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara, on the other hand, says a third party may be needed to resolve possible disagreements on key factual issues. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
You've seen them do the signature Duterte fist pose, and now some critics believe the crew members of the FB Gemver have been forced to tweak their story. Agriculture Chief Manny Piñol, however, denies such thing. Ria Fernandez is back with this report.
Senator Laila de Lima is convinced that FB Gemver 1 Captain Junel Insigne was coerced to suddenly change his tune on the ramming incident at Recto Bank following their meeting with Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol. In a letter she had written at Camp Crame, de Lima said it was obvious that the Filipino fishermen were forced to concur with the government's narrative. She said the fishermen were left drowning again, with the government supposedly betraying them for siding with China. Likewise, the Makabayan bloc in Congress believes that the Duterte administration is covering up for the Chinese embassy.
Kasinungalingan ang nilabas ng Chinese embassy. So, sunod na punto ay malinaw na pinagtatakpan ng Duterte administration mula kay Pangulong Duterte mismo, kay Panelo at sa iba pang mga opisyal niya. Gustong patahimikin talaga ng administrasyong ito ang mga mangingisda mismo at ang galit ng mamamayan. At malinaw naman ang mas malaking interes na inahabol ni Pangulong Duterte dito, ang pagpapatuloy ng mga pautang na napakalaking interes, mga proyekto na maaring magbaon sa atin sa Pilipinas sa mas malalim na utang sa China at ginagamit na collateral including ang Recto Bank.
But Piñol defended himself, saying the seafarers had not been intimidated to revise their accounts. As a matter of fact, he said there are still some who think that the elision was intentional. Others said it was just an accident. Mixed accounts require an investigation, he said. The only thing that has changed, according to Piñol, was Insigne getting clear about the truth, that he was not really summoned by the president to Malacanang, in contrast with his earlier claim. Piñol also clarified that the items and the loans they issued were not bribes and were actually one of existing government assistance programs. Piñol assured his critics that he had nothing to do with the deployment of cops in full battle gear during their closed-door meeting. The official challenged his critics to simply ask the fishermen and find out the truth themselves. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
Water in Angat Dam is expected to hit critical level tomorrow. With this, Metro Manila residents are urged to conserve water and even recycle rainwater to deal with service interruptions. Shaila Francisco with the story.
Customers of this car wash in Mandaluyong have been reduced by more than half. Due to limited water supply, the establishment had no choice but to turn down customers.
Naging yung pasensya. Wala rin po magagawa. Hirap naman po, mapapahiya po yung namin na sabunan namin tapos nawalan po kami ng tubig.
In the same barangay, some residents continue to line up for water.
Yung nagdi-deliver po, sabi, babalik, tapos maghihintay yung mga tao, ipipila lahat dito hanggang magdamag, walang dumadating. May dumating man, maliit na tanker.
While some store more than enough water to avoid the lines, others endure lining up every day.
Gusto man namin sobrahan, wala kaming lalagyan na.
With limited supply, both Maynilad and Manila Water are set to release an updated water interruption.
Ang epekto po yan sa kasalukuyang level is hahaba pa po yung oras ng interruption para mapahaba natin na meron tayong tubig. No? Pagsisikapan po natin is to really update and advise the schedules sooner to our customers.
Pag bumaba po yun sa 36 pa ang allocation ng Metro Manila, mahaba po yung interruption ng mga ating mga customers at dadami pa yung maapektuhan.
Officials are now asking the public to conserve water and recycle rain showers when necessary.
Huwag tayo mag-hoard, huwag tayo mag-imbak ng tubig, at lalong mauubos po yung supply natin dyan. Ang kailangan po natin maging responsable.
Mas priority ang domestic supply para sa mga household po, kasi yan po talaga ang kinakailangan na magandang kalidad ng tubig, So mga non-essential, meron po tayong alternatibong pwedeng mapaggamitan.
Shaila Francisco, We Are One News.
Meanwhile, here are the biggest stories from the dailies. PDP Laban is offering the Deputy Speaker post to presidential son and Davao Representative Paulo Duterte should the administration party capture the House leadership. A PDP Laban leader says the Philippine Star that the idea was considered even before the dinner for incoming congressmen last Tuesday, which was organized by Pulong himself. Now, former House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez first floated the idea of Paulo seeking the top House post. Alvarez said he is willing to give way should Paulo pursue the position. Pulong had previously said he's not interested. Another police official has fallen victim to motorcycle riding assailants in Cebu yesterday. The Freeman reports that Police Master Sergeant Diogenes Carillo was on his way home when he was shot by a riding in tandem in front of a school in Cordova. He is now the fourth policeman with alleged links to the drug trade who was killed in the same fashion in the city since March. And this from Filipino Star Ngayon. Today, veteran actor Eddie Garcia's wake will be open to the public. You may pay your respects to the 90-year-old actor from 3 p.m. today until Sunday, June 23 at the Heritage Memorial Park in Taguig. Garcia passed away yesterday, 12 days after suffering a bad fall on a set of a TV series. Now, according to his last medical bulletin, the actor died at exactly 4:55 in the afternoon at the Makati Medical Center Intensive Care Unit. Now, for those that are heading to Eddie Garcia's wake, the weather will be cooperating with you. Most parts of the country will experience generally fair, in fact, hot weather. That's because of the ridge or extension of a high-pressure area affecting Luzon. However, localized thunderstorms are still possible, especially in the afternoon and in the evening. Meanwhile, a low-pressure area being monitored by Pag-asa is still outside the Philippine area of responsibility. It is expected to move closer to the PAR this weekend, but it is still too far to affect any part of the country. Members of Kapa Ministry gathered in several parts of the country on Thursday to prove that they are not an investment scam. JC Cosico with the report.
Despite the scorching heat, hundreds of Kapa Ministry members from Luzon gathered in Quezon City to ask the government to let them resume operations. On Thursday, members of the religious group held a unity walk and noise barrage around the Quezon City Memorial Circle. They insist Kapa helps the poor and is not an investment scam, contrary to President Rodrigo Duterte's view.
Baka nagiging bigay yung Pangulo doon sa panawagan namin na ang Kapa ay nakakatulong sa mahihirap. At the same time, this is a religious organization, hindi po kami scam.
53-year-old Benjamin Apari traveled all the way from Mexico, Pampanga to join the gathering. He says he receives 12,000 peso blessing every month from Kapa, which goes towards his wife's breast cancer medication.
Kung walang tulong ang Kapa, sa araw-araw abnormal po ang buhay ng aking asawa. Nang dahil kung wala siyang mainom na gamot, talaga mamimilipit talaga siya ng sakit.
Meanwhile, a similar gathering was held in General Santos City. Ronnie Lopez says he donated 20,000 pesos to Kapa and needs the monthly blessing for his children's education.
Presidente Duterte, hindi unta makuan. Masirado ang Kapa para dakwa ang mong tabang sa among kabataan.
Kapa also wants to reopen, as several members reportedly committed suicide after the ministry was shut down.
Yung reported ho sa Kapa is mga nasa halos 10. Pero yung na-confirm ho natin na talagang na-verified ho natin at papadalahan ng tulong ho, nasa 5 na po. Kahit na hindi siya nag-suicide o na-cardiac arrest, basta namatay starting June 9, bibigyan ho ng tulong ng Kapa.
Kapa founder Joel Apolinario called on members to unite and show how many were impacted by Kapa's closure.
Marami po ang maaapektuhan, lalong-lalo na po yung mga trabahante po sa ating mga businesses na kasalukuyan pong na-freeze, no? Lahat ng accounts at asset ay na-freeze, na kung saan ito lang po ang isa sa mga pinagkukunan po natin ng source upang makapagbigay po tayo ng financial assistance.
Apolinario says he went into hiding due to threats to his life. On Tuesday, a criminal complaint was filed against Apolinario and several other officers of Kapa. The group is accused of securities violations and employing a Ponzi scheme. But Kapa reiterates that they are ready to face any investigation. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
The 34th ASEAN Summit will officially kick off this weekend in Thailand. President Duterte is set to attend the event, and Jenny Dongon is live in Bangkok to give us the details. Jenny, tell us the latest.
Risa, President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to arrive here in Bangkok, Thailand tonight to attend the 34th ASEAN Summit that officially starts tomorrow. This two-day event will be the third-time visit of President Duterte here in Thailand. 7 of his cabinet secretaries are already here in Bangkok to join the event. Among them, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Locsin, Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez, Social Welfare and Development Secretary Rolando Bautista, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade, Tourism Secretary Bernadette Puyat, and Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol. The ASEAN leaders are set to discuss ASEAN community building under the Advancing Partnership for Sustainability during the plenary session on Saturday, which will be followed by a gala dinner. On Sunday, the leaders will have a retreat where they are expected to exchange views on the ASEAN's external relations, the way forward, and significant regional and international issues. One of the topics set to be discussed is the South China Sea issue, as confirmed by Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretary Junifer Mahilom. So the questions remains, will the president raise the Recto Bank incident where Chinese vessel allegedly rammed and abandoned the Filipino fishing boat? However, the DFA official is on defense that the Recto Bank incident will be discussed. Mahilom explained that with the major pending investigation and diplomatic protests filed by the Philippines against China, the summit may not be the proper venue to discuss it. Meanwhile, 16 outcome documents are expected to be signed during the summit, 4 of which are to be adopted by the ASEAN leaders. Risa, President Duterte is scheduled to leave Thailand on Sunday after the 13th Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines ASEAN Growth Area Summit. And so far, the meeting between Duterte and the Filipino community here in Thailand is not part of President's schedule. Risa.
Thank you. That was Jenny Dongon reporting live from Thailand. Meanwhile, here are the stories to watch out for later today. Before heading to Thailand, President Duterte will lead the oath-taking of his son, Vice Mayor Sebastian Duterte, in Davao City. Vice President Leni Robredo will be flying to San Jose Occidental, Mindoro to meet the crew of FB Gemver. And a PBA action resumes today at the Cuneta Astrodome with TNT Catropa gunning for solo lead against the Colombian Jeep in the first game. Then San Miguel and Alaska will renew their rivalry in the second game. Both teams are looking to bounce back after tough losses in their previous matches. Catch both of those games live on PBA Rush. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again next time for another round of Rush. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.